Disney and Marvel have officially confirmed that Avengers Doomsday will be the first big MCU crossover since 2019's Endgame. And guess what? It's bringing back not one, but two of the and possible three original Avengers who we thought were gone for good. And yeah, Chris Evans is of the OGs making the return. We also have a hint about the role he might play. Filming for Avengers Doomsday is set to kick off in the second quarter of 2025 in London, with a planned theater release of May 1st, 2026. As for the plot, it's being kept under lock and key at a high-security S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. The script is still being worked on following the major creative shakeup announced in the summer of 2024. We can make some pretty good guesses about the bigger picture of Avengers Doomsday, based on where the multiverse saga is heading. First up, incursions are clearly going to play a major role, especially as we get closer to Doomsday and Secret Wars. After the multiverse-shattering events in Spider-Man No Way Home and Loki, the sacred timeline isn't as unique or protected as it used to be. Other realities are bleeding into each other, and all of this could lead to another multiversal war. Both Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and the Marvels hinted at some serious dangers threatening otherwise peaceful universes and teased the presence of the X-Men elsewhere. With the Council of Kang's plot seemingly dropped after Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania's flop and Jonathan Majors' real-life issues, it looks like Doctor Doom is stepping in to take over the Avengers movie. And, in a wild twist, he's being played by Robert Downey Jr. because the multiverse is weird like that, and honestly, Disney and Marvel might be a bit desperate. We still don't know if the new Doctor Doom will show up in the Fantastic Four First Steps, which, by the way, takes place in a different universe before making his big debut in Avengers Doomsday. But chances are we'll feel his presence long before he threatens all of existence. As for the new Avengers, we don't know who they are yet, even though there are plenty of candidates, or how it'll all connect to the massive, multiverse-shaking Secret Wars. As for the cast of Doomsday, a couple of safe bets are Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch, mainly because they're tied to both the current multiversal threats and the late Tony Stark, and his mysterious look-alike Victor Von Doom. We can also expect major roles for Anthony Mackie and Benedict Wong, with Earth-based Peter Quill likely joining the new Avengers team. Shang-Chi and She-Hulk are solid picks too, though we haven't seen them in a while. Throw in heavy hitters like Thor, Captain Marvel, and Black Panther, and it looks like we've got a pretty strong roster. But again, this is all just speculation for now. More characters have been set up throughout the multiverse saga, and plenty of veterans are still around, not to mention unexpected picks from other universes. Basically, nothing's off the table, especially after Marvel made waves on the internet with the announcement of Chris Evans casting in Avengers Doomsday. The big question now is, who will Evans play in this movie, especially after he reprised his role as Johnny Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine? During an appearance on the Hot Mic with John Rocha, insider Jeff Snyder shared some new details about Evans' role in Avengers Doomsday. According to Snyder, Evans is set to take on the identity of Nomad in the next Avengers film. He revealed, "I've heard who the character is, I was having the conversation today, and someone mentioned it, Nomad." In Marvel Comics, Steve Rogers takes on the alternate identity of Nomad after abandoning the Captain America costume and title in Captain America number 180, published in December 1974. He becomes disillusioned with the government and feels he can no longer serve his country after losing faith in America. This would mark the first time Chris Evans officially portrays the Nomad version of Steve Rogers. While many believed he adopted that role in Avengers Infinity War in 2018 when he tore the American insignia off his costume, co-director Joe Russo explained that Evans was channeling the spirit of the character, but he wasn't exactly Nomad. There were rumors that Marvel might introduce Nomad into the MCU as early as 2020, but now it seems like it's becoming official. As for where Nomad will come from in Avengers Doomsday, the last time we saw Chris Evans' Captain America, he went back in time to live with Peggy Carter after returning the Infinity Stones. While it's possible we could see an alternate universe version of Cap in Avengers Doomsday, there's a strong chance the one who returns will be this version of him. Many fans felt that Cap's story was cut short in Endgame, and this could be a great way to add more depth to his character. Considering how much the Avengers will need help facing a powerful villain like Doctor Doom, having Nomad on the team would be crucial. This could also create an emotional dynamic, especially with Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Victor Von Doom, building on the long-standing relationship between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. On the other hand, there are also rumors suggesting that the original Avengers cast will play villains in Avengers Doomsday, with Chris Evans potentially taking on the role of Hydra's Captain America. This version of Steve Rogers first appeared in 2016's Captain America Steve Rogers #1, where after the Secret Wars event, a new version of Steve Rogers was created. This version of Rogers was influenced by a sentient cosmic cube named Cobie, who had been manipulated by Hydra and the Red Skull. In this alternate reality, Rogers was raised by Hydra, eventually earning the trust of Dr. Abraham Erskine, and later receiving the super soldier serum to become Captain America. After a series of battles, including during Civil War II and the Secret Empire event, Hydra's Steve Rogers rose to power, eventually replacing the original Steve Rogers in the Pleasant Hill storyline. He instigated attacks on Earth, manipulated S.H.I.E.L.D., and led the Hydra takeover of the U.S., using the S.H.I.E.L.D. Act to grant him absolute power. Rogers even murdered the Red Skull and declared himself Hydra Supreme. While it might be challenging to fully tell this evil version of Captain America's story in the MCU, especially since S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra were dismantled in Captain America the Winter Soldier, there's still potential for this dark iteration of Rogers to appear in Avengers Doomsday. The character's story involves him building his army of evil, facing off against the original Captain America and becoming the new Flag Smasher in later Marvel Comics storylines. His inclusion could provide an interesting twist, with Evans portraying a villainous version of his iconic character. Now, I'm excited that Evans is coming back, but I really need Scarlett Johansson to return too. Her portrayal of Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, was one of my favorites in the MCU before her death in Avengers Endgame. While Black Widow in 2021 gave her one last appearance, I felt it didn't do Natasha justice. I've always thought Black Widow was one of the most underappreciated characters in the MCU, and I wished Scarlett got more attention. Natasha's death and how Black Widow played out left me wanting more, but thankfully, there's a real chance for Marvel Studios to give Johansson the spotlight she deserves. I really want Scarlett to reunite with the original Avengers in Doomsday. Now, I know she might have some doubts about returning after her lawsuit against Disney, but recent signs point to things being smoothed over. Johansson is listed as an executive producer on Thunderbolts, which features some Black Widow cast members, and she's expected to be involved in another MCU project too. So, it seems like her relationship with Marvel Studios is still solid, and I think it's totally possible for her to come back to the big screen. Well, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other exciting upcoming movies. See you next time!